Hey, Maanyaa. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much caffeine have you had?
At the moment, it's 4. 4. Solid 4.
That's not too bad. 4's not too bad. I've only had 1 cup of tea so far, and I'm thinking about if I want to make another one or not, and I think I'm not gonna. I think I'm not gonna take that risk. Happy Friday, by the way, everybody. What's going on? It's a weekend. I had a really busy week. I don't know about you. Did you have a really busy week? Why are you muted? There you go. Hi, yeah, hello. You're good to go.
What the hell, girl?
I don't know. I don't think it was me, but yeah, whatever.
Oh, whatever. Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna say it was you. Who are people gonna trust? Who are people gonna believe more? I'll make a poll.
You really want to test that? Okay,
no, this is terrible. Oh god, I regret everything. I'm doing it.
Okay.
Doing it. Everybody gets a poll. You get a poll, and you get a poll. Everyone gets a poll. I've realized I got like 3 things I didn't actually open that need to be opened. Whoops! It's okay. It's fine. I'm a professional. Did I just spy Jesse Jerdak in the chat? My buddy, my pal, my friend. What are you doing in this cursed land?
Hello, sir. How are we today?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dumb Feck Friday. Now, I know we promised, or we didn't, I guess we didn't promise. We said that we were going to talk about the CAS report today. But we're not doing that today because I burned out all my brain cells watching Erin yesterday for 7.5 hours, getting through her stupid shit streams that she did right before going to court. And I don't want to use my brain. So I let Maanyaa do all the work.
That's fair. Yeah, I got my 60,000 pages of words dossier and I flipped through it. I'm just like, yeah, here you go, boom.
Oh boy. Okay, so hold on. I'm gonna make another poll. I gotta make one for the for Twitch as well. We are live on Twitch and YouTube, by the way. Welcome. So instead of doing the CAS report, Maanyaa had been collecting a bunch of background stuff. And I pulled that together. But before we talk about that too much, we do have like a little mini update about court stuff. Do you want to give people a really brief TLDR for anybody who doesn't know?
So last year, Steve and Co, Erin et al, decided that they're above everyone else, and started harassing a private person for whatever reasons, and didn't stop even after they got served with TROs. Did stupid shit. I told them, my advice to them was get lawyers and shut the fuck up. They didn't do that, and ended up with such conduct that their TROs got converted into ROs. Some by default, some by their own dumb fuckery when they were present online and chatting with each other in the background so that the judge could hear them. So, fast forward,
they got
busted. Today, Erin and Veda had to travel to the court in another or state, and come in front of the judge to do whatever, and they were then served with contempt papers for that. The hearings were yesterday, and they're still going on, if I'm not wrong. The contempt hearings are still happening. So Erin very confidently, I think so 24 to 48 hours before, had said, oh, I'm going to stream with Veda once, once we come out of the court, within the 24 hours. That didn't happen. And then now she's saying, oh yeah, I will say something, but not about the court stuff, just about what attacks have been happening on me. We are just saying she killed her fucking dog. She killed her pet mouse, and her sister disabled their cat when they were
listening to Maanya's TLDRs are hilarious.
Yeah, so here we are today, and we are. I don't know, it's hilarious or sad or whatever, but I have made a bet that Erin cannot help herself from dropping something about the court unless she scripts whatever she's going to say today. If then
If
also I
if
don't
she
have
even does it.
any. Yeah. Then also I don't have any faith. Then also I have no faith.
Well,
So, yeah.
mm,
Crush
TLDR, there's
was it
a
okay?
yeah. I'll give a different one. TLDR, there's a lady who's been getting harassed over like an anti-Facebook group for nearly a year now, and the courts are starting to wrap up. There were 2 court dates, Thursday and Wednesday, just this past week. One of the people involved decided to do 2 live streams right before court. Claimed they were gonna go and live stream after court. It is from as far as I'm concerned, and from the research I've done, to me looks like I think Suzanne used the word cabal of YouTube content creators that were just harassing this woman who doesn't have a channel, doesn't have a platform, she's not like a famous person who's like, oh my god, we all have to follow around this person from TMZ or whatever. She's just a lady. I went to court, I've been back to court, may or may not going back soon because there's more than one content creator involved, so there's going to be more than one suit involved. But those court dates have wrapped up, and we're kind of waiting to hear on some of the information. But you want to see what Erin actually said, since now that she's out of court, this is the tune. Although I will side note the thing that Maanyaa brought up about the pets. I watched her 2 streams from before court, and she randomly brought up a story that she presented as a haha funny teehee story about, trigger warning, her sister, who is now older than she is, tell me how that works, choked out and nearly killed their grandma's cat, funny haha, and that she killed her pet mouse because they just let these field mice that they used to catch, and they'd bring them into their house and then just let them run around the house. And she squashed it with a chair, and her mom just watched. I don't know what to tell you. The live stream is still up on Twitch if you want to see me go through it. It will be up to vote if that's the one that you want. It's a whole lot of me being bored, but you know. And then there was like another story that somebody in the chat shared about somebody who had almost killed their pet cat when they were younger by putting it in a suitcase. Yeah. Yeah, and these stories were presented as haha funny teehee. Isn't that so wacky? Like, unprompted.
Nani?
These stories came out of nowhere. I don't know what to tell you. But her tune now. Yeah, go ahead.
The post she was reading had something about cats and stuff, so that's why she started talking about it. The thing is that
that's a pretty loose connection.
That's a loose connection, yeah. The thing is that what I think happened there is because the people like Erin, Suzanne, Renelle, they try to relate personally with the stories that they're reading or presenting, so they try and bring up instances from their own personal life. But they also end up cooking up some stuff because they are so desperate to relate themselves, because they want a reason to like talk about shit, right? Why would you talk about that shit? So they bring up some personal reasons. Oh yeah, this has happened in my life also, blah, 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 blah. And sometimes they cook shit up, and sometimes they run with it. And I think so. I'll give Erin her stupidity some charity and say she just didn't know what she started with, and she just ran with it. And before she running her mouth just came out of these 2 ridiculous stories that she couldn't control because her brain doesn't listen to her. So here we are. I'll just say that.
Anyway, she said as she had related to court stuff, she had said that she had some extra stuff that she had to do, and she's been feeling confident the entire time. So let's take a look and see what she's saying now. Yeah, what do you got, Maanyaa?
By the way, I did offer her a copy of my statement. A statement which is what, 11,000, almost 11,000 words long. And
long.
And Erin's logic was just because I wasn't posting my hard work for free meant I didn't have anything on me.
Also, for anybody who's been following the Helldivers thing, Sony has lost is down negative 8.91%.
Holy shit.
For Sony Group Corp, it's a big drop.
It was not enough for Sony to get hacked by Anonymous. They didn't get the message then. Now they're doing it again to themselves. Why do they keep doing it to themselves? Chesh, what the
I
fuck? They
I have
what PR team do they
also
have?
I have also heard that they added 3 more countries to the block list for Helldivers.
Let me check if it's New Zealand.
Yeah, go for it. So for anybody who's been following that, that's an ongoing issue. If you're interested, go check out Accursed Farms to get maybe something done about that politically from a different angle. But regardless, Sony just wants to shoot themselves in the foot over and over and over and over and over again. So this is where Erin's at currently. She tweeted out and said, I want to first apologize to my friends and viewers for not streaming the past couple of days. Initially, she had said she was going to try and stream every day for the week that she had off because she's not working, she's traveling and doing stuff. So she initially had intended on streaming every day. Then she had said she had intended on streaming with Veda the night after the first day of court, and she hasn't streamed as of right now. So, sure. I really did intend to stream, but my business called for more of my time and energy than I anticipated.
Oh, I think so. She underestimated. Of course, she underestimated traveling, attending court, back and forth all day long, sitting there giving testimony, obtaining testimony or questioning testimony.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. It's a hard job. So I think so. She underestimated that at the end of the day, after that, she could stream. But on top of that, she's an idiot if she thinks that she can stream after when a contempt hearing is happening around a restraining order, violation of a restraining order, that she can stream about whatever's going on
Yeah, I guess we should
or whatever
probably
has been
say
happening.
for people who don't know, this was for her hearing was for getting a temporary restraining order turned into a restraining order, as well as there were contempt papers that were served to her a couple of months ago when she was at court last time, and those papers were for her to say how she's not in contempt of the temporary restraining order. And so that's what's been coming to conclusion. It doesn't surprise me that she had the intention to stream and got like a little bit overwhelmed. That's fair. I think that's reasonable. I think
The problem is,
yeah.
the thing is that I have been giving them advice, some very basic advice from the start. One, get a
Mm-hmm.
lawyer and shut the fuck up. I've been doing some legal, you and I both, we have been doing some legal interpretation of whatever has been going on. Until
Sure.
now, we have been not spot on even, but we have been there. We have been
Mm-hmm.
correct so far, if I'm not saying.
Yeah, I don't think
So
we've
for
gotten
someone to
anything
come in and
horrifically incorrect.
no, no. So for someone to like Ronell to come in and laugh at us and say, "Oh, one is in Canada and one is in New Zealand. What would they know about American system?" Honey, we know at least more than you. More than you.
Did you know it's
When we
impossible to learn about another country's legal systems? I did. Damn, you have to be in the country to
Adam,
know.
Ronell, just because you're incompetent doesn't mean everyone else is incompetent or cannot attempt to learn something new. You know what I mean? So yeah, uh, so yeah. So I was giving them this advice the whole time. I'm like, till the cases conclude, get a lawyer and shut the fuck up, or just shut the fuck up till the cases conclude. And I even offered my 11,000 word statement for a price. Obviously, it's my hard work. For some reason, we have a saying back home, like before destruction, your intelligence just gives up on you. It says Vinashkalin Viprit Buddhi. That's what it's called in our language in Sanskrit. So it means before destruction is imminent, your intelligence leaves you or gives up on you. So this is what's
Mm-hmm.
happening here. Their intelligence has left them and abandoned them, and they're doing anything, whatever that's coming in your brain. For now, I think so. Just because maybe the quotes have told her to shut the fuck up, she's shut the fuck up. I think this is not voluntarily, in my opinion. That's not voluntary.
It's
I
possible.
might be wrong.
There's a question in the chat that says, so did Rennell laugh at EKC for spouting nonsense about about Canadian police? No, I don't believe she did. I'm pretty sure her consistency is in line with whoever she thinks agrees with her at the time.
Yeah. or whoever she's friends with. She will not criticize them. She will criticize everyone, and that's not even criticism that Ronelle brings up. She does ad hominem attacks like Manya's angry. Chesh, she puts up Chesh's picture while she's drinking for some reason. So both, like, she does ad hominem attacks. That's it. And for her to say that I in New Zealand couldn't learn about the American judicial system. Madam, you underestimate me. I don't underestimate myself. I'm very, very confident in my intelligent faculties, and in my brains. So I got a master's, bitch. So just back off. Just back the fuck. And I'm doing a diploma at the same time. So back the fuck off.
I agree with Jesse in the chat. This poll is way too close. I did way better in this poll than I thought. That's not appropriate. Because Maanya's probably gonna answer your questions directly. I'm liable to fuck with you.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Way
guys
better than
chose
I
it,
thought.
so stop.
Hey, listen, get ready to get dunked on, kiddies. So
Yeah.
so here's the thing, right? Um when it comes to Aaron being overwhelmed or not being able to stream because of whatever's going on with court, or if the court told her not to stream while she was there, I don't know. It's possible. Who's to say? But they wouldn't have told her not to stream at all. I don't think the court has that kind of power. They would have just
No, they
said,
can't.
don't stream, like,
They
don't
can't give
talk
her.
about the court. Then they can't give her legal advice. At least the judge can't.
Yes, I was about to add that. Yeah, they
Yeah.
can't give her legal advice.
She
Renelle,
said,
tell me how that is wrong. So do tell me how that is wrong. All right, explain to us. That will be great.
I like that the advice you gave was get a lawyer, and Renelle was like, why are you giving legal advice?
Yeah, from New Zealand about American system. I'm like, that legal advice applies to majority of the courts all across the country. European, American, Canadian, South American, New Zealand, Australia, all of them. Get a lawyer, shut the fuck up. That's the most basic advice I gave. And for some reason, she found fault in that also. I'm like, okay.
Don't get a lawyer then, see if I care.
They didn't get a lawyer. I think so. Renelle got a lawyer. She
Womp
did
womp.
take my advice, but she was like, she's so full of herself that she won't, accept the fact that she took my advice, right? She's so full of herself. So she has obtained a lawyer, and since then, I think so. What she has been trying to do is she has been trying to attack Chesh and I. Last video she made about us, it was about Chesh and I, not about Charlotte, if I'm not wrong, and where she was like, oh, these both Maanyaa and Chesh implicated her, sorry. And we are like, madam, just because your bullshit got discovered a little late doesn't mean you didn't do that bullshit. All right? It was there for everyone to see.
Nobody has to talk
Just
about it. Like, that's just not how the courts work. The courts don't care if YouTubers and content creators are talking about the bad thing you did or didn't do. The court cares if,
No.
like, the plaintiff can demonstrate or you can defend. Like, it does. This whole legal nonsense could have happened whether or not I made a video about Steve
Yeah.
getting swatted. Although I do think me doing that was probably ended up incidentally being a godsend to Charla's side because of the follow-up video that Aaron and Veda and Nikki and Steve did in response to me. Like, I had nothing to do with it. Their response, they just spilled so many beans. I don't even know I don't even like beans.
So whatever, I think so. What Ronelle was mad about is that you and I highlighted the fact that she was also involved in all this.
Yeah.
That's what she was mad about. What does implicated mean? Implicated what? In front of a judge? Are you stupid? You already did those live streams. Yeah, Charla's lawyer got hold of those live streams and said, "What the fuck? You were also involved in this? You bitch!" And if you did try to negotiate with Charla's lawyer, maybe they didn't find it good enough. Maybe you weren't giving them what they wanted, and that's fair on their part. If they want something and you're not giving them the legal route, and if you're still being a bitch, they have every right to serve you. So don't try and blame other people for your own actions.
I just think it's super
Don't do
wacky that we've got people going to court over a stupid Facebook group that isn't even, like, that impressive. Like, most people don't even know
No.
it exists. It's very silly.
Um,
It's a niche within a
someone
niche
from
within
the-
a niche, and it's so, like, beyond. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll just say one thing from the live chat, and then we can just wrap this up.
Yeah.
I think. Daisy Reed, Daisy underscore Re underscore 22 said from the live chat, I do find it hilarious that they talk about KJ's court cases in ways that could be applied to them. When they're being sued, it's someone else's fault. Exactly.
Move your microphone
They
down
talk
just slightly, just a little bit.
Oh yeah, you
There you go.
advised me last time also. I think so. Yeah. Sorry, forgot. So yeah, so they talk about KJ's cases all the time, and Renelle here, this bitch is mad that we spoke about her, what, twice or thrice? She got mad. Okay.
Um,
Implicated her. Hilarious.
whatever. Who cares? So, Aaron said, thank you everyone for your support. I am aware of the current attacks as well. I don't know what she's referring to. I promise to stream tonight, even if only for 5 minutes, to thank everyone. That would be like today, tonight. To thank everyone personally. Please understand that I cannot talk about any business that's going on, that's gone on the past few days, but I look forward to catching upon everything else with the community. I assume she means catch up on everything else with the community. Thank you. So, I can't hear you. Did you hit your button? What did you do? Every time. Every time with this shit. Nope. So a couple of notes. She streamed 2 times before court, streamed up into the court, talked a lot about what was going on, even if she tried to imply what was happening without actually talking about what was happening. And finally, now that there might be conclusions for people, she's like, oh, I can't talk about my business anymore. As if the whole thing hasn't been blown publicly. And as if their little friend, you guys remember Black Wolf, right? The guy who was like being all buddy-buddy with the chemtrail people and the Holocaust deniers? Yeah, that guy. That guy decided to tweet about what apparently was going on in the court proceedings. Now, keeping in mind that Wolf received a cease and desist, a TRO, and didn't show, from the rumors, did not show up to his online court date to fight that TRO, meaning that he currently has a standing restraining order, from what we can tell. Secondly, if he is tweeting about the private individual, he's in violation of that restraining order. And if he's tweeting out information about what's going on in the courtroom, that means either he's making it up or he's being advised about what is happening in the courtroom by people who are in the courtroom. And the only 2 people in the courtroom that talk to Black Wolf are Veda and Aaron. And so if Veda and Aaron are telling Wolf, who we know has been used multiple times to disseminate information from this group of people to make it public, i.e. Steve saying, well, I just send it to you to deal with, it's such a clusterfuck. It is not just a violation on his part, it would be a violation on, get ready to have your group chat subpoenaed, am I right? I still can't hear you, Maanyaa. Subtitles here. What the fuck? So, and this is all still with at least one more known court date. Sorry, well, it's 2 dates, but one more court case that's coming up, and that's Steve's case. And that's whether we don't know if Renelle has a court date or not. Yeah, we're good. We can hear you now. Welcome back.
Damn it.
It actually sounds better than it did a minute ago.
Yeah, the connection was loose from here.
I
was like,
that makes sense.
Hand talking. Smitty, you don't need to teach me hand talking. Have you forgotten that stream where I was muted for like first 10-15 minutes and not even 15, like 20 minutes, and Chesh was talking and I was miming? Like, did you forget that? I don't need it. I don't need to learn that. I can express myself without, my voice quite accurately, if I'm not wrong.
Honest Red has been plaguing me with this, but why male models? It's a good question. It's a very good
What?
question. I can't answer that question. What are your
Okay,
thoughts, Maanyaa, on this?
so anyone who's trying to play cheeky and sneaky by thinking that they can give inside, oh, hi Puck, boop boopity boop. If anyone thinks that they can go around the court's orders to not talk about the shit that's happening in court by telling others in messages and then them putting it on Twitter, that's still violation of the court's order. Please listen to me this time. Oh, Mario, hey. Um, it's still a violation of court's order. So far, I have been spot on in my analysis of this whole legal shit that's been happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say stop communicating with each other. Shut the fuck up means shut the fuck up. That means stop communicating with each other too. Back off for a while. If you have done this, if anyone has done this on that fucking group, where they have gone to Wolf or Megan or Nikki and given them information and messages, I promise you, if you don't accept that what you have done is full of shit and you are at fault, and you drag this on, the next thing will be your messages will be subpoenaed. And if you think that you can delete those messages and no one can find anything, then get ready for your devices to be subpoenaed and getting taken away. So this is how it goes. You guys have been covering so many cases on your own channels and you don't know what the process is, or do you think that you're not, significant enough that you won't go through the same process? Process is process.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter whether you're a big YouTuber or a small YouTuber. If you commit certain actions, you will be part of certain processes. So shut the fuck up, stop talking to each other, stop trying to like sneak around the court orders. Aaron, you have already done, you have already like spread the shit around so much. You were in Chesh's DMs uninvited, sharing information, and now if you're doing the same with other people on Twitter who are still disseminating this information, I'm not going to be surprised if you get arrested. I'm not going to be surprised if you get arrested. So, listen to me. I am helping you. Yeah, I'm making fun of you. Yeah, boo-hoo. Get over that. I'm helping you. Why am I helping them? Why? 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 Why?
I don't
I don't
know.
know. That's my default setting, I guess.
Monty's
That's
a
the
nice
third one.
guy.
Yeah. I'm the nice guy.
Vagary, it's me. I'm the nice guy. Vagary in the chat said also contempt of court. Those proceedings are sealed at the court's authority. To leak information is to violate the authority of the court.
Especially about the person, about the witness who was part of the case.
Yeah.
You're leaking information about them.
Oh, well, the protected person in this scenario.
Yes, who is also a witness for their own case, obviously. So yeah, what is wrong with you guys? And that's what I say. The company you keep defines you and influences you and makes you who you are, especially when you are on internet, on YouTube. And for Aaron to just sit there and say that YouTube won't have an impact on anyone else's life, you're full of shit. You're an idiot.
Actions have
You are
consequences.
yes, you're so desperate. You're so desperate to minimize your actions that you're saying, "Oh, it's just YouTube." But when Katie Joy does it, oh my God, she did it on YouTube. How dare she? Do you listen to yourself, you motherfuckers? All right, ran over.
I'm curious to know what the results of the court case are. If I'm able to share it with you, I will. I have some other stuff that I've been sitting on that if I am able to share it with you, I will. I think I'm going to try and do a timeline video with, of course, with receipts, because I know this whole situation is incredibly confusing for anybody who hasn't either been following it from the beginning or hasn't been able to catch everything. I do have the company playlist that I think will help, but it is not exactly like definitive this happened, then this happened, then this happened. So I'm going to try and put something like that out, I think, in the next little while. So look out for that if you are trying to figure out what's been going on. But holy shit. Out of curiosity, Maanyaa, what attacks do you think Erin is referring to in this tweet? She says she's being attacked, right?
Oh, I made some few tweets when you were doing your Twitch stream where you were covering her live stream, in which she very tacitly admitted things that her sister did to their cat and she herself did to their pet mouse. So
I guess I guess I would have a question then. Did I attack you more or less than your sister did to the cat?
Or yeah, fair. And if you know, you try and say, if Erin decides to say, we were kids, madam, at 3 years of age, children usually start learning empathy and the concept of pain. At 2 years, children start talking. So for your parents to unable to teach you that you do not, you know, throttle your cat's throat, yeah,
you don't. It's not just negligent. It's not just negligent on this toddler. It's not the toddler that's the problem. Toddlers are going to be toddlers. The problematic thing that I'm talking about is that casual dropping of animal abuse. Haha, TT, what a funny story. Learning nothing. It's not like she presented this story and like learned anything and like that says like this was a really bad thing that happened, so therefore look out for this thing. And if I wanted to be really nitpicky about it, I would say it doesn't demonstrate that you are necessarily negligent as a child. It tells me your entire family was negligent to animals as a child.
Yeah. So to present that story as something like, oh yeah, you know, like Chess said, as a tee funny story. What's wrong with you? What is seriously wrong with you? That's why Chesh and I say, Erin, you're not good at this. You are not good at this.
And even if those stories were fake, it's still not cool to just casually drop animal abuse stories and animal negligence stories casually as if it's a funny fucking thing to talk about. What the fuck?
And before Erin starts screaming, oh, it was in the past, blah blah blah, there are other YouTubers, much bigger YouTubers than her and us, who have been cancelled because it came out that they had abused their pets in the past. So Erin, you are the one to blame for whatever we talked about. You brought it up and we criticized you. You just don't like it because where the criticism is coming from. Suck my dick.
Alright, so moving on. Do we have anything to add about Wolf? I don't think so. I think that was kind of a brief.
Wolf, if anyone associates with Wolf or you know, interacts with Wolf, your brain is no longer a brain. It's mashed potatoes. It's a bowl of mashed potatoes now. Why are you interacting with this person? Maybe just because you want someone to defend you, to be around you. Fine, but it will happen one day. This motherfucker will get you in trouble with the law, and you will have nowhere to go.
Well,
and this dude was making run like a bitch.
This dude was making threats to people online, being like, "Pull up to my house," blah 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 blah, and then people started asking for his address.
Hey, well, actually,
very funny.
Actually, there was one person who did. I will also take up on that offer. Give me your fucking address.
Oh yeah, I'm here for it. That was the first thing I said. I said, "What's your address? where are you at? Let's go." Yeah. I gotta I'm likely traveling back to America anyway.
You know what? All I have to do...
We'll go get coffee.
Coffee and just sit on this motherfucker's chest and just sip that coffee away. That's all I have to do. Yeah. That's all I have to do. And he will be wheezing and begging for his life.
Alright.
I can't breathe.
So you brought this to my attention. It was how are things for women in the United States in 2024, and this kind of ties into the bear versus women conversation, right?
Oh yeah. So my Twitter timeline is now obviously curating itself to that topic because I have been reading a lot of stuff around that and retweeting a lot of stuff around the bear and versus a man. The basic question was, women were asked, oh, in a forest or a jungle, would you prefer company of a bear or a man, and the women were like, the bear.
It was
the bear, the bear, the
explicitly
bear.
a man that you don't know.
Yeah. Yes.
So
It was that specific.
you don't even get the odds of getting somebody you do know. It has to be somebody you don't know.
Even then, I can guarantee you they will say
They still pick the bear.
the bear.
So women picked the bear, and a lot of men got mad about. Sorry, I shouldn't say a lot of men. A very specific subset of men got mad about it, and that subsect is the reason women pick the bear. And they ultimately got mad about it in what I've kind of figured is about two ways. They either got mad at it and started being like, well, women deserve to be assaulted, or deserve to be, like, attacked, or they got mad about it with the not all men. You got one of those two things. Those are about like the level of the divide of that.
Some people try to use statistics, and then a fella came up who had a degree in statistics and all that stuff, masters and a PhD if I'm not wrong,
yeah.
and balanced everything out, and still men were more dangerous to women than bears.
Oh, by a large percentage, by like a 300% margin. It was insane.
And I think so. There was something else also that someone brought up. I don't know. I don't remember that, but it was something around, oh, so women don't want men's protection. I'm like, we don't need your protection. Just keep your distance.
Men's protection doesn't exist. That's a myth.
No, are you saying you're going to protect? This is the thing, right? Men say, oh, we are going to protect you against other men. So motherfuckers, that other men do that, and you say you will protect us, but you're not gonna say anything to them.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, dude? That includes your fucking friends.
Well, what are the problem?
The locker room talk.
Ugh. I always get a kick out of that one. And the thing is that, again, like I said, only the problematic men got mad. No man who is not a problem had an issue. They were like, yeah, no, that makes sense. That sucks.
Yeah. And then, I think so, there were men who brought up, oh, what about women when they do that to men? So
there's a lot of whataboutism.
Domestic violence. Yeah, what about, like, violence both ways is bad. But the question was asked to women specifically about a certain type of man.
About men, yeah.
So.
A stranger.
Yep. So why are you crying now? What did you imagine will happen? That's also another problem with patriarchy, right? They tell women what they're supposed to think. They deny the experiences that women have and what opinions women develop based on those experiences. They dismiss all that. The red pill community does that, and now we're seeing here. They try to tell women what they should think and how they should behave.
Favorite response to this that I've seen from, like, a lot of these type of men, and I noticed it most strongly when I watched Sargon of Akkad's video about it. The first argument he made was, but women don't understand what a bear is. And it's like, what? They're just like, oh, you're just city feminists. You don't actually know what a bear is like. And it's like, I think we know what a bear is, guys. It's not that complicated. And I don't think what a lot of these men didn't like, because again, we all know it's not all men. This was a very specific group of men, like, type of man that got upset. I don't think they liked how quickly all the women answered. The bear. I picked the bear.
Hesitation.
Yeah.
Without hesitation.
Instant.
And again, their experiences were denied. Their opinion based on their own experiences were denied, and people and men tried to tell them what to think and what to feel, and that's the biggest problem in society today, when one sex tells the other sex that your experiences don't matter. We are not. This is what you're supposed to think. This is what you're supposed to feel, wear, and act. It's problematic both ways, but this situation is very specific. So don't go whining and bitching about the question that you asked.
Right? Don't be mad at the answer. If you want the answer to be different, then do something about it. Berating women is probably not going to be very effective.
That's the thing. They go for the shortcut. They try to berate the person having that opinion based on their experiences. They don't try to change the experience that the person is having.
It's easier to try it. Well, it's because they believe that women are weaker, so it's easier to berate the woman into thinking differently than it is, or at least being quiet about how they think, than it is to change their behavior because they don't believe they're doing anything wrong in the first place.
there's a concept in our company that is applied. Oh, here
The
we go.
company.
From my
The
experience,
company.
the company, not that company where I work at the moment. So, um, we have a policy. We say people will not adapt to the change because in the past they have had negative experiences. In order for people to accept change, you have to change their experiences. Same thing.
Yeah. And their perception.
If it
Mhm.
applies to a corporate setting, it definitely applies at a societal setting. Till you change women's experiences, you will not get another answer from us. The bear, definitely the bear.
Mhm.
Change their experiences. That means you gotta change. You gotta change your attitude. You gotta reset your subconscious, whatever biases and discriminatory biases you have, and be respectful and start treating women as people, just like you, not like women or human beings, just like yourself.
We've
Then
got. Oh,
the
sorry.
answer might change, and that also, it might take a century at least before the answer might change if we are consistent. So yeah.
We got a couple questions from the chat that are a little bit more follow up on like the company as an umbrella. So like, there's questions about Rabbit and interacting with Katie Joy,
Oh god, that
and
crying bitch.
May, like how Megs is involved and Renelle. So I think what we'll do is keep those questions. And what
Yeah.
we'll do is, Maanyaa, if you want and are willing to have like a little get together with me to do like a Q&A sort of overarching stream where we can kind of suss out the timeline video. I think that would be a good idea. So then people can ask questions. Anybody who wants to catch up, we can do kind of like a catch-all Q&A as well as try
Yeah.
to present like a working timeline, so that way we can make a video, like we can get a video out that is just like a here's like the hard facts from here to here. Try to keep out as much opinion as possible where then people can figure out what they feel or think about it on their own.
Yeah.
Does that sound good to
But
you?
we will
Yeah.
present, if people ask, we will give them evidence
Yeah.
to tell them like this is where it came from. We are
Yeah.
not like these motherfuckers who just pull shit out of their assholes.
I think these are important and good and valuable questions in such a
Yes.
complicated situation, because it's not as complicated when you get it down to brass tacks. It's just hard to get it down to brass tacks because there's just so much bullshit involved. So it's a little bit tricky. So I think that would be a good idea, just to
Yes.
help people
And
understand, get
also,
people on board. So we can work to schedule that after this stream. Sorry, I mean, I don't mean to schedule it after this stream. I mean, we'll figure out when we're going to schedule it for
when
once
to
we're
do it.
done today. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, yeah, and we also have to consider the fact that Chesh and I are still on witness lists, I think so, for some of the cases.
Yeah.
So we have to
Yeah.
we have to be
Tempered.
we have to think about the cases also. So we will answer as much as we can, and for what we answer, we will point you to where we got those answers from or inferred from.
And if there's a question we can't answer, we'll just say, sorry, we can't answer that question, or we don't have an answer to that
Yeah.
question right now. We'll try to be
We
as transparent as possible.
Yeah, we can note down that question for you and maybe answer it
Mhm.
when this whole thing concludes. Then we can maybe answer those questions, some of those questions. So, yeah, but I think yeah, that's a good idea, Chesh. That's a good idea.
All right, so back to this. How are things? So this was kind of like inspired. This tweet, I believe, was kind of inspired by the amount of statistics and crap that was getting thrown around about women saying the bear. And so they said, well, why don't we look at where women are? And they had said, how are things for women in the United States in 2024? Every other week, a woman in Idaho is being airlifted to another state in order to receive emergency medical care. Women are refused to be seen at ERs while they are actively miscarrying. Women are developing sepsis and requiring ICU treatment rather than being provided standard stabilizing care. These and other atrocities are happening in our country because of the unethical ideologies of extremists. Women have lives, have value, and women owe no one their fertility, organ damage, their long-term health, or their lives. So I'm just gonna play this real quick. It's only 2 minutes long, and let's see what it says.
Hi, today the Supreme Court is debating how many organs it's okay for you to lose before an ER doctor can provide you life-saving abortion care.
I'm an abortion care expert and researcher in the U.S. I consult on abortion care and access at the state and federal level. I've done research or worked in some capacity on every single major abortion case that has gone in front of the Supreme Court in the last few years. And I need you to be fucking enraged right now. This case is only about whether doctors have to provide you an abortion in the case of a medical emergency. And they are divided on whether or not you deserve emergency medical care if it involves abortion. Their argument is they should only have to act to preserve your life. Do you understand how high of a bar that is? Don't worry, I'm a researcher. I have receipts. Amanda Zarovsky developed PPROM at 18 weeks, but doctors wouldn't do an abortion because there was still a heartbeat. She developed sepsis, which is a leading cause of death in pregnancy and has a mortality rate of 8%. She spent 3 days in the ICU and the infection permanently damaged one of her fallopian tubes. In Houston, a hospital refused to see a preterm pregnant person who was heavily bleeding and having contractions. Her husband called 911 from the ER lobby's bathroom where he watched his wife miscarry into the toilet. In North Carolina, a preterm pregnant woman went to the ER with stomach pain and they refused to see or stabilize her. While being driven to the next nearest hospital 45 minutes away, she gave birth in the car and the baby died. Idaho is the state that brought this case and is arguing that they shouldn't have to provide the care. Idaho's St. Luke hospital system says on average they are life-flighting a woman every other week to a neighboring state for life-saving care. They don't have to act to preserve your future fertility or even to prevent kidney, liver, or heart failure. They only have to act to save your life.
And even that's kind of questionable. Because that's wishy-washy. That's not always very clear. Yeah. And you're putting doctors
will fail.
And you're putting doctors at risk too, right? To be tentative about giving that care even when it's going to save your life, when you're playing those odds and percentages.
Yeah. No wonder the hospitals are refusing to get involved at all at this moment, because they're like, yeah, we want to make sure that you're alive and healthy, but
in America,
the law is restricting us.
In America, 50% of the population. I'm gonna be like a little bit like liberal with this percentages, but you get like 50% of the population is dudes, 50% of the population is gals, just for the sake of simplicity. If 100% of men who supposedly want to protect women and take care of women voted to take care of women, maybe women would be less inclined to pick the bear. Even if 75%, even if 50% or more of men voted in a way that was beneficial for women, this is in a place where there are currently questions about what, like, there's questions going on about, like, removing no-fault divorce.
Yeah. Oh God, that one. Was it Matt Walsh who was talking about it, or was it Ben Shapiro?
I think all of them kind of talk, like the right-wing pundits. They all kind of talk about that.
And then these right-wing pundits are surprised that women don't want to get married or even get into a relationship.
Steven Crowder got caught abusing his wife, then went online on air of his show to complain about no-fault divorce because he didn't want to divorce her.
Yeah.
After cheating on her.
Yeah, which we discovered as we started inferring shit from his own behavior way past around, like, what, 2017, 18?
Well, as far as he would have been concerned, his abuse of her and his infidelity wouldn't have constituted no fault.
Yeah.
Right?
Right, yeah.
Wacky!
Mm-hmm.
Wacky!
Unfaithful spouse. So his wife, or his ex-wife, was doing him a favor by moving forward with a no default, divorce.
The no fault divorce.
And he wants to mess it up, and wants it to go in the direction of being the unfaithful spouse. Do you know how much if she's not working, or if she's working for you, or has been working for you, which we know that she had been working for him for free in his business for a long time, how much she would have raked away from you? Do you understand, dude? How much She in back pay and wages, she could have just asked the court to
Hey,
ask the
listen,
court
it's
to pay
not.
you.
It's. I don't think it's entirely over yet. I've seen some questionable things that may have come out about her dad saying that he's gonna take everything he's worth.
Brilliant,
Do it.
brilliant.
Get him.
And before and before some people try to say, oh, this is what happens to men who are providing for their families and blah 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 blah. Shut the fuck up.
Providing for your using your wife for free labor isn't you providing for the family, dude. Wah wah.
Yeah, it's and apparently he was all in going in the right direction, or his show was going in the right direction while she was working for him, and as soon as the divorce proceedings started, he just dissipated and disintegrated and fell apart.
Yep.
So
So if men out there, if you want to change women's perspectives on men, and your whole shtick is that women should rely on men to protect them and help them, fucking do something about this. Maybe. Fucking do something about this. Big preach, bro. Thanks. I'm all for working together.
yeah, let's go for it. Let's go.
Okay, you brought this other one. This is back to this is still part of that, like, bear question, right? This person brought forward that, the women can support themselves financially. Women no longer need men to have a roof and food. So what are men doing? And they're attempting to strip women's bodily autonomy, ripping away their ability to work while pregnant, suing and discussing how many organs women can lose, like the video we just looked at. This was hidden by the original poster, so I can't see it, but we don't need you. All men can leave those jobs, then women could step in, get paid well, and not have to deal with sexual harassment. Money is freedom when women can pay men same as other men like you that don't build a fucking thing. And in response, this guy had said, I support women who think. So are you aware that if all women quit jobs today, the global economy wouldn't be affected in any significant way? What?
Quitting jobs will mean quitting being a housewife too.
Yeah,
You
you
know
can
that,
throw
right?
that in there, sure. Yeah. I assume that they mean paid work, but
Oh, paid work. Oh, okay, paid work. Sir, where were you when the world wars were happening, World War One and World War Two, and all that, when women took up every job that a man was only supposed to be good at, while men went to war, and they flourished, and they said, "Yeah, we got your back." And do you know how much the medical field will suffer? Your nurses, majority of them, they are women. You fucking baka. You baka.
it's very
And if you
funny.
think majority of researchers nowadays, women are thriving and thronging, and they're just lined up
STEM.
to go into research.
In STEM, yeah.
Yeah.
This
Next time
is
someone
this
chops
is
your penis off, you might not get a surgery. Just
there's
saying. Just
there's
saying.
also a lot of women in acting, in law, both as judges and as clerks and as lawyers, and in porn. There's also a lot of women in the video game industry.
Oh, sir, are you sure?
Womp
You
womp.
said porn, now they're
Hey,
back
well,
here.
hey,
Now
listen,
they're back
these
here.
kind of guys like that Stellar Blade game, right? You know that there was a motion capture actress for that. Goodbye.
No, there was recently, I think so. I don't know if it's a Japanese lady or a Japanese actress who was going viral because of the fluid movements she
Her
did, so that they
Seraphine,
could be
yeah.
captured. Yeah,
That
could
is so
be
cool looking.
captured for. Yeah, you won't get that.
Goodbye.
You guys can't do that
Goodbye,
unless you
all
hire
the
ballet dancers.
hot
Women
women
are
in games.
dancers. Women are dancers.
So,
Yeah. Your
if
strip clubs. Sir, your strip clubs.
I just love this. If all women quit jobs today, the global economy wouldn't be affected in any significant way. That's so funny.
Your Las Vegas, which uses women like in casinos, as what do you say, paramours or partners, and then your strip clubs that are there in Las Vegas, all your gambling industry will crash. Because why do people go there? They go there to flaunt their wealth and their luck. Who will they flaunt it to? The person sitting next to them? No.
That's a good point. So, but I love that that's followed up from, I support women who think.
This is us. Honey, this is us thinking. You're welcome.
I think you're a moron. How do economics? If men quit their jobs, LOL. Yeah.
Sometimes I believe that these accounts are just like trolls. They want to get a reaction.
This is a Russian bot.
Yeah,
Poe or not
Poe.
Poe?
That's what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys think it's a Poe? 1 in the chat if you think it's a Poe. 2 in the chat if you think this is real. 1 in the chat if you think this person is fake. 2 in the chat if you think this person actually believes what they're saying. You barely even have a platform to express nonsensical sentiments about any gender being less important. That's not what they said. They didn't say men weren't important. They said they weren't necessary to exist alone.
And who told you that? Are you saying Twitter won't be available? YouTube won't be available? Do you know who was YouTube's last CEO? She was a lady, right? Yeah, she quit, whatever. But if women had quit at that time, you wouldn't have YouTube, dude.
I would like to point out, almost every place I have ever worked at collapsed after I left working there. I don't know why. It's a weird coincidence. Surely it has nothing to do with me.
The site I'm at, I'm in the management group. Except for the engineering manager, I'm one of the people who has stayed there the longest, more than a year. The guy who was doing my job before me quit in a year. I have been in that position for what, 3.5 years now?
Yep.
No, actually 4, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
For some jobs, men don't have the resilience nor the temperament.
The programming for space was written on, for the Apollo was written on paper by a woman. Disney wouldn't exist because a lot of the animators that did the state-by-sets were women.
The latest, I think so, the picture or the image that was captured of black hole, that program was written by a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Your accountants, all your account work will crash. Your accountants are women. In banking facilities, women are preferred as customer-facing representatives.
Yep.
Your banking will crash. Sir, please think before you speak. If you want to say that women are not necessary, just like men are not necessary, sure, you can say that if you want to. But what you said was, are you aware that global economy wouldn't be affected in any significant way? That's what your statement was. And I'm like, do you realize what you just said?
By the way, the lady who was working on COVID before COVID worked on it despite not getting proper financial backing for her work. And without her work, we never would have had a COVID vaccine as fast as we did. Or maybe at all. A lot of people are alive because that woman continued to do the thing that she was passionate about and the thing that she cared about and the thing that she thought she was important despite people.
I bet you
woman
that this guy is an anti-vaxxer, or this person is an anti-vaxxer. I'm quite sure.
I wouldn't be surprised. All right, we should take a quick break. We do have a legal thing to look at real quick that's going to make you cringe out of your face, and one other dumb thing. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in about somewhere between 2 and 5 minutes, and we'll see you momentarily. Maanyaa, I didn't play the intro.
How? What?
Remember I forgot to play our Welcome Back to Dumb Feck Friday video.
Then just play it now.
Oh, okay, I'll just play it now. I'm sure nobody will mind if we just
Please.
play it now, right?
Right, we're coming back. Yeah, we're back to Dump Back Friday. Yeah, so.
Alright. Okay, alright, fine. We can do that.
Hello.
Welcome back to Dumb Feck Friday. Dumb Feck Friday. Dumb Feck Friday.
It's going to be fun.
Hi, welcome back.
This is Dump Back Friday, everyone.
Welcome back to Dumb Feck Friday. Let's go.
Oh no.
I hope you all had a good break. I didn't look to actually see how long we've been live for. Oh, we're only at an hour. We're doing good. Alright, we're doing way better than I thought. Nice! So you sent me this, where there's a story about a legal scenario where Utah Karen faces sexual battery charges after tugging on a teen's skirt. That's pretty yikes. But before we dive into that, Sar mentioned that, so there's this gaming petition. If you're interested in seeing industry changes around the world in video game industry taking advantage of you by selling you a service instead of a game while trying to take advantage of some legal loopholes, please feel free to go check that out. It's on Accursed Farms. But apparently, I've been informed that the Canadian petition, which I believe only required 500 signatures to be viewed, is currently at 3,200 signatures, and it's only been out for a couple of days. And this will be the first weekend so like a lot of times when something goes on, people will file in a lot more on the weekend when they have free time. So good shit. Love to see it. Do you know much about this case? The Utah one?
So this is all about policing women's bodies. This is basically what it is. Especially younger women's bodies, and women doing that to other women.
Oh yeah. Women do that to women all the time.
And or men around them, apparently. And so basically, this woman, I don't know where they were specifically, but they were at a public place where she was there. A dad with their 10-year-old son was there, and then this teen was there who was with her friends, and apparently her skirt was too short or something. And it irritated this Karen, and she decided to put her hands on that teen by going there, grabbing her the lower part of the skirt and pulling it down. And the teen was like, "Excuse me? How dare thee?" And then obviously it's considered assault from where they come from, where it happened, and the woman got arrested. She's still maintaining that, yeah, I did it, but it was for some greater good of some kinds, like to reduce public lewdness or nudity or something like that. And I was just like,
don't touch people.
What made you in charge?
Don't touch people. What the fuck?
And her reasoning was, oh, there was a dad there and a 10-year-old son there, and the dad didn't do anything, so I decided to do something. I'm like, maybe the dad didn't do anything because he knew it was none of his business.
I mean, yeah.
And maybe then get your child out of there. Maybe to get your child out of there. Ask the guy, dude, this is not an appropriate setting. Maybe you should take away your child. Why the fucking teen, the girl? Why? Why is it always that girls have to police themselves what they wear? What the fuck?
So, I see that kind of stuff happens a lot as well with, like, fat shaming. People will be like, oh, well, if you're a certain weight, you shouldn't be, or you have a certain body type, you shouldn't be wearing a certain kind of clothes. And it's like, bro, fuck off. Who cares? Wear whatever you're comfortable in. If you're uncomfortable and you're looking for advice, then that's different. But if you're just walking up to people and telling them what they can and cannot wear, dude, nobody fucking asked you. And, like, I've caught myself times where I'm just, like, I'll see somebody wearing something and I'm like, I don't like those boots. And I'm just like, but I'm not gonna say something to them, and just because I don't like it doesn't mean it doesn't look good on them. And that doesn't mean they don't enjoy it. It just means I wouldn't wear those boots. It's meaningless. Did they ask me about my opinion about what I would wear? No. Look at me, I'm a goblin. Who gives a shit?
If it's offensive to you and you think it was offensive to that man, you could have asked that man, is this offensive to you? Oh, you should take your son out of this situation. It's a public setting, and if it was offensive to you, then you should have removed yourself from that public setting, not try and control that teenage girl. That's absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit.
Yeah, if you're bothered by somebody's existence who isn't doing anything to you at all, you need to move. That's a you problem. That is a you problem, and you need to remove yourself from the situation because you're the one with the problem.
Exactly.
So this is the Law and Crime Network. They got a lot of. They've been around for a while. They did a lot of Johnny Depp coverage that on YouTube.
Yeah.
And this is the sidebar with Jesse Weber, if that matters to anybody. So this is like a host of their show. So they're having a bit of a conversation about this case. I'll give you guys the link. So if you wanted to look up the whole thing or check it out more for yourselves later, feel free to do so. But let's take a look to see what this guy and his guests have to say about the situation, I guess.
I'll threaten to call CPS. I guess the question is there ever, if you really did have somebody who was nude, okay, let's say she was nude. If you take a blanket and you put it on that person or you try to put their clothing back on, would that be sexual battery? I mean, is it really dependent upon if that person is nude or not?
It's a great analogy, and it's an interesting question because, is conduct justified if it's promoting, for example, public policy here, or to create a more purient interest in the community to protect? For example, I think Lorenzo said there was some young.
Sorry, I'm just gonna pause for a sec. I don't know who this guy is. Maybe they're in the description.
Some sort of.
He's an analysis for them.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll
Thanks.
tell you who he is.
I just want to jump in real quick to say why this analogy doesn't work, because it doesn't work in this scenario. In one scenario, this woman is grabbing someone's clothes and pulling on them, potentially removing those clothes, in this case. Yeah. Depending on, like, how far that... Like, that might not have been her intention, but that could have easily been a thing that happened.
Yeah.
Not the covering of a naked person. Throwing a blanket on somebody, regardless of whatever's going on, would not be considered sexual in nature in the first place. And if you've got, like, a naked child in the street... that's a very different, that is not analogous to what has happened in this scenario, so I don't know why this guy said this was a good analogy at all.
Yeah,
and yeah, if you throw something over top of somebody, that can also be considered a battery issue. Depends on what you threw and what the context was.
Why would you throw, even if a person is the only scenario where I think it would be okay to throw a blanket at someone is because if there's a victim out there, you find someone in cold, in snow, naked, and they're asking for help.
Yep.
They're saying, I'm cold, please help me and save me. In those instances, you motherfuckers just walk away.
You have consent.
Women actually ask for help.
One of these answers would be like, if it's just not analogous. It's illegal in most places to be running around naked like that. As well as you have another adult fucking around with somebody else's kid who isn't doing anything. So that's a whole other scenario. On top of it, if you're talking about, like, helping somebody, because that seems to be the implication. Like, in what scenario would be your intention would be to help them and assist them? If you're seeing, like, just like a naked person running around, then you need to communicate with that person what you're doing. You don't just throw shit at them regardless of what that shit is. You need to communicate with that person. And if you're not able to communicate with that person, you shouldn't necessarily be getting directly involved like that anyway. You should be calling the police or or like whatever 911, or depending on whatever scenario you find yourself in, right? Yeah. You should be calling, like, paramedics. So these are really different situations, so I don't even know why you would present this as an alternative.
Even if it was in accordance to the laws around lewdness and nudity and stuff in that state, still, you don't have any right to implement or enforce those laws. Call the police. Let
You
them
also
handle this.
don't
And
have rights to be touching other people that don't want to be touched.
yeah, keep your hands and your grouchy, your grimy fingernails to yourself.
The only time you
Right?
should be throwing a blanket and smothering somebody in any capacity is if they're on fucking fire and it's an emergency situation. Then maybe
Right.
throw a blanket on them.
Or they're asking, do you have a blanket? Can I please have a blanket? Yeah, when they're asking. And it's so yeah, this guy, his name is Brian Claypool, and yes, he's a trial attorney according to this guy Jesse Weber, that's how we pronounce his name?
Weber? I would say Weber. It's WEBER.
Weber.
I'm not sure if that's right, but I would say Weber. I pronounce shit wrong all the time though, so don't trust me.
Okay, so this guy, his name is Brian Claypool, and apparently he's a trial attorney. So yes, he's one of the the guys
Analysis.
who analyze.
Yep.
Yeah, who come on this channel. Seriously, that analogy was in the wrong direction. I don't know. Did Jesse really sit and write that on a script, or did he just just came up with it and ran with it? I don't know.
It's not a good analogy,
So-
and the person who's supposed to be the analyst not recognizing why that's not a good legal analogy, or just a regular
Yeah.
analogy, is kind of a yikes in my opinion. But
Yikes.
I
Us
can't.
two women.
We're
Us
I'm
women-
Canadian. You're in New Zealand. We can't talk about the law in Utah.
Utah. No way. No. Oh no.
No. It's almost like it's not like we have a show where we talk about news and politics around the world. Womp womp. Okay. Clearly somebody who covers Katie Joy would know more than I would.
Right?
interest in the
Right?
community to protect. For example, I think Lorenzo said there was some young kids around. I think he
Yeah.
mentioned like a 10-year-old. So if think about it, if there's a 10-year-old around and the victim is dressed in a provocative way, and the 10-year-old's father is doing nothing to confront the woman who's dressed in a provocative manner,
What?
and a concerned citizen wants to take it upon herself to remove something that she believed could be offensive to other children looking at it. I mean, I think that's the argument she has to make.
Oh, the argument she has to make in the court. Okay. So he's trying to. He's not justifying this. He's saying that what he can only think of is that argument that can be made in court. But still, I don't know if that would be a successful argument, because you're again asking a father to instigate a situation that doesn't need to be instigated in the first place at all. Remove your fucking kid from there. That's what you would say. But because I think so, he's making a case to justify the woman putting her hands on the kid or the teenager. So maybe that's
Well,
what he's
the
saying. This is
kid's
what he
not
thinks.
the kid's not hers. This parent, this adult man parent, has a 10-year-old with him, and so this lady took it upon herself to interfere with another person who was a teenager because they didn't like the way this teenager was dressed, on behalf of that adult who didn't seem to have a problem with it, and this 10-year-old that she in this made-up scenario where they could be offended as far as she was concerned. What? I'm gonna play it again just so we can be clear about what this guy is saying.
Right?
And it's an
Right?
interesting
See, that's why I
question
chose
because, is conduct justified if it's promoting, for example, public policy here, or to
Public policy would be about the nudity that he brought up, not what is about the court case, and then he switches to talking about the case. That's why it's confusing. Sorry for people that
Yeah.
find this confusing. It's because they're being unclear because that analogy was trash.
to create a more prurient interest in the community to protect. For example, I think Lorenzo said there was some young kids around. I think he
Yeah.
mentioned like a 10-year-old. So if think about it, if there's a 10-year-old around and the victim is dressed in a provocative way, and the 10-year-old's father is doing nothing to confront the woman who's dressed in a provocative manner, and a concerned citizen wants to take it upon herself to remove something that she believed could be offensive to other children looking at it. I mean, I think that's the argument she has to make. And look, who knows if this case it does go to trial? I mean, Utah is a pretty conservative community, and there might be some jurors on there that might just kind of do this when it comes to the law, cover their eyes, and say, "Hey, wait a minute, maybe we're not going to find this woman guilty because she was doing something to promote what she believed is in the best interest of other children."
So how, if I may say,
Mm-hmm.
I just noticed how he didn't say that in Utah there are laws around nudity or lewdness or wearing provocative clothing.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about the community for some reason. And I think so, yes, he has got a point that if Utah is conservative, it might happen. But then it's the job of both the lawyers for the defendant and the victim to make sure that they vet the jurors properly. That is very essential. I don't know if it will go to trial. I don't think so. It will go to trial. Because these matters are quite straightforward, and lawyers usually will
There's
try
a
to settle them
lot.
outside the court.
There's a lot of problems with conservatives imposing rules that are not constitutional on women right now in America. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I think it's a silly, not that this guy is silly, because I don't know, but the argument that he's talking about implies or is kind of explaining that if you're doing something to benefit your community, you should be allowed to assault other people.
Yeah.
That's scary. That's scary for a lot of reasons. And Desi brought up that regardless of the details, this woman can't win this case because what a dangerous precedent to set. Absolutely. So that means that people could assault women if they don't like what they're wearing in Utah. Or if they think that you're, quote-unquote, doing things in public that you believe could be offensive to somebody else.
You know what?
What happens when you start throwing LGBTQ people in there? What happens when you start throwing people of a different race than you in there? Or a different political affiliation?
When people cross-dress.
Yep.
What about them? Yeah. So, actually,
it would be very scary.
I had just copied and pasted the link because this came across my timeline just casually to Chesh. Maybe we can talk about this, blah blah blah. Now I'm going to follow up with this case and find out what was the end result. This is going to be interesting. What do you think, Chesh?
Did I accidentally just make this case way more interesting than it actually is? My bad.
How dare you, Chesh?
Sorry.
How fucking dare you?
It's probably not gonna be that interesting because I'm kind of extrapolating, so I don't think it'll go that far. But part of the problem with the Democrats in America is they don't pay attention to stuff like this when it's happening, and it sneaks by, and then it sneaks by and it's too late. So yeah, more people being interested in the potential problems that this could be in the future if you don't nip it in the bud right the fuck now. I still think that's a good good?
Let's go. Jesse, I got my eye on you, bud. I got my eye on you.
Well, I don't know.
It's about the case.
Yeah, it's about the case. I don't know what this guy's analogy was not useful at all, and I don't know what he says after this. But so you also sent me this one, which is women are not obligated to give men anything in return for being treated like a human being. I am absolutely comfortable with men saying they could rape and unalive women if they wanted to. Sorry, did I say comfortable? Absolutely uncomfortable. With men saying they could rape and unalive women if they wanted to. That's not a normal thing to say online in real life. I agree. It's violent posturing for the purpose of subjugation and control. So what do you think, Maanyaa, and what do you guys think about that as an description or an analysis of what's being said when people do that?
So the only reason the men are not at the moment are not raping and unaliving women is because the law or the consequences of those actions is holding them back because they don't want to face the consequences of those actions.
Well, they're saying they just don't
That-
want to, but they could. So the law's not even
They
what's
could-
holding them back. They just don't feel like it right now.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's
Sorry, it was worse than you thought. My bad.
like you
Law.
are you so you're doing us women a favor, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Then it would be okay for women to just shoot you dead, right? It would be okay with that.
I kind of, alright, low key. I've seen people make this argument that
I won't shoot you, but I can shoot you anyways, you know what I mean?
I've seen people make the argument when having these kinds of discussions that women should just defend themselves harder. Like, women should just have guns. And I'm like, do you really want to put forward... This is something that, like, Destiny was saying. I was like, do you really want to put forward the idea that it's just acceptable for women to shoot a man dead in the street because he made her feel uncomfortable? Because that's the result of that. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, they do that. Some states still haven't changed their laws around the homosexuality and same-sex people, that it's okay if someone felt threatened because of a trans person or someone from the LGBTQ. They have every right to defend themselves, which includes killing
Do
them.
you have any idea how many dead men there would be if women were just, like, purported to, or, like, encouraged to just shoot a man if they made her feel uncomfortable?
Because guys, let me tell you.
It'd be a lot.
Let me tell you. Yeah.
That'd be an expense. That's an
Majority of you-
additional expense for women. all those bullets.
Two women are telling you do that majority of the time. So, you want to go that way? Let's go.
I am pro for America. If America's not gonna, like, fix its gun laws and follow through on its gun laws very well, I am pro all women being given a gun and a set of bullets and being like, here you go. One of the statistics that guy brought up when he was doing that statistics about the bear, one of the statistics he brought up is that women were like 75% more likely to be charged if they tried to make an argument as self-defense than men, of still maintaining the charge. So even if your argument is that women should defend themselves and, like, defend themselves as aggressively as possible, if a woman defends herself and it goes to court and she says it was self-defense, she is 75% more likely to lose that argument.
Yeah. Because how will you... That's also another thing, right? There's this bias. This legal
Don't check
bias
me on that
for-
number. That 75 might be off. I do it off the top of my
Yeah,
head,
but
so...
it's... Women will...
Margin
more
for
likely.
error. Yeah.
But men are given more leeway by the sounds of it. So odds are stacked in our favor, and it's
Odds are stacked
either you are stupid.
against the men. Sorry, against women.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Against women.
Against women, yeah.
Oh yeah, against women. So when you bring these instinctual arguments up, or reactionary arguments up, you're either stupid or you're so entitled that you don't care.
Do you think that the whole point of is violent posturing for the purpose of subjugation and control?
Yes.
It's a threat,
Yes.
right?
Don't go around asking for more freedom, you bitch.
You should be
happy with
grateful.
what you got. Yeah.
The response to this was, you missed the point.
Oh god.
The point is men have the capacity to make women do what we want. Hello, the 1950s would like to call in the amount of death and riots that went on during women's suffrage. Thank you. Please open a textbook. Maybe not an American textbook. I've heard those aren't so great at history.
Why do I have a funny feeling that America is going to make the same mistakes that it did in the past, and it's going to devolve, and we will have another women's suffrage in next decade or 2 decades or so?
If we get
Why do I have that funny feeling?
If we get another women's suffrage, I would like to see it just be like women and the LGBTQIA+ community. Like, cause like all of us are in the same boat here. I would also like to see a lot of like minority America join in.
Yeah. And it's the age
Like
of
ethnic
internet
minority
bish.
specifically. Sorry?
Yeah, it's the age of internet bish. Add that.
There is nothing to say that these things don't have to happen on an international level. Men have the capability to make women do what we want. I'm sure it will go well for you. In the West, we do not act that way. For the most part, we respect your autonomy.
For the most
For the
part.
most part.
What was that? What's that part again? Can you clarify, sir? Sir?
So which parts are you not respecting?
Yeah. In return, I want to read this one now.
Yeah.
In return for granting you that respect, you tell us to fuck off. You would rather be with a bear. Go then. All right.
Yes, women will continue to not spend time with you and will continue to not fuck you. You're welcome.
You're well. Yeah. In return for granting you that respect, who the fuck are you to grant us that respect? We are saying we will be respected or else fuck off.
So, and here's
That's
the
what
thing
you're
too, right? I see these types of accounts, right? Like this woman, this Megwise woman is actually pretty. I've been following them for a little while to just kind of get the vibe off of her. She seems pretty solid. And one of the things that I think, and she's very much an equality person. Like she loves her husband. She's married. Same with Bonky. Bonky's also pretty great as well. Recommend both of them if you're interested in like what feminism kind of actually really looks like. But one of the things that I do notice is they get a lot of negative comments from men. And it's a large disparagement, meaning I don't see a whole lot of men coming out to defend these women against these volatile men. For the argument that men are supposed to protect us, right?
Because they're entitled enough to ignore it. They are entitled, and they don't care.
And of course that doesn't mean, what I'm saying doesn't mean that every man should go under every thread and comment every time. No, obviously within reason.
Yeah, but no men on such threads at all. And you will be like, huh.
Well, that's part of the thing, right? Is that if what these people are arguing is true, then that's what you would expect to see. Because that's not what you see, then that means that's not what's happening.
So, I think so. I read it somewhere on Twitter. Someone explained it quite well. They said why men don't do that, defend women in such scenarios, is because whatever the other men are doing still works in their favor.
I would still like to see more support. Right? You obviously don't have to go there to defend the woman, but more support overall would probably be nice.
Yeah. These men need to know what true fear is. Well,
I am officially begging you to stop giving me so much content.
Hey, thanks, Meg. Thanks.
I approve.
Their ad is nomadic _ nomadic _ so. That's what they're
Yeah. Nomadic Soul. If you're interested in giving them a follow, if you're on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, I don't know what to tell you. Probably for the best. Good decision. Get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
there are a couple of people in our live chat that are not.
To wrap up, court was happening. Aaron did streams, said dumb things, got out of court, said dumb things. Wolf said dumb things that might get all of them in legal trouble because he's a dumb.
Dumb bitch.
Women would rather hang out with bears. Here's why. That's our show.
Don't put your hands on kids.
Free Palestine.
You snuck that in there.
I'm not wrong. Free the Palestinian people from oppression. They don't deserve any of the bad things that's happening to them. Genocide is bad.
Home, like, yes. I'll end on this. We have a saying back home. It means, in my own language, it says like, "Kisi ko itna mat darao ki dari khatam ho jaye," and it is, don't push someone or threaten someone all the time, so much so that they stop fearing you.
I also want to share a trailer with you guys before we go. Jesse is being the DM for a bunch of rad people for Roll for Initiative, which is a charity. So if you're interested in that, go check that out.
Brilliant.
That's starting, I believe, in June, if I remember correctly. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I didn't look ahead of time. I thought about it before, but I didn't double check because I'm an asshole. But go and check out that link.
Hey.
Hey, you have anything else you want to get off your chest, Maanyaa?
Hopefully, I'll be able to achieve 2 things this weekend. Hopefully.
Uh-huh.
One of them is submitting my assignment on time. I took Monday off for that purpose. My site manager has graciously allowed that. And the other one is the GoFundMe video.
Hey, let's go.
The audio draft is ready. It's in Chesh's inbox, and she has said it's okay. So now it comes to slicing and cutting and adding more stuff to it to make it comprehensible.
It's
for
time to
everyone.
add the spice.
Spice.
Garlic
Spice
butter.
to the curry. Yep.
Um,
Yeah, that's it.
I have a conversation with Fuzz Rana and Charlie Dave coming up about what free will is. We also have the tavern coming up not this Saturday, next Saturday. So make sure you look out for that. If you missed it, we talked about scientism the other day with Opie and Landon, and it was so far over my head. So watch me flounder. It's very funny.
I loved it.
Good. It was very intellectual content. I'm also live on Twitch Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and I will be live on Sunday, but I'm live at 7 a.m., not on Sunday, doing art and talking about this kind of stuff. If you're a member, you get access to all those VODs the week after they go on Twitch, and every week we put one out on Sunday as a premiere, so you can come and hang out with us and vote on which one you want by going to the community tab. Thank you so much for supporting, like, and share, and all that good shit. Becoming a member is very, very not expensive, so if you want all that content, it is literal days worth of extra content for members, I shit you not. Yes, Maanyaa?
Are we going to Discord after this today or not?
Yeah, we have Discord conversations and hangouts for a little bit after these streams, so if you want to join us in the Discord, we will be in there, and look for us in the near future while Maanyaa and I try to we'll do a live of us trying to sort out the timeline. So don't take the things we say in there as fact. That's going to be us trying to suss it out and make sure we can get all of the information and verify that information. So look out for that soon.
Yep.
Subscribe and all that shit.
Right.
And we are gonna get the hell out of here. Have a good weekend, everybody. Oh, bye-bye.
Cheers. Hello.
Welcome back to Dumb Fact Friday. Dumb Fact Friday. Dumb Fact Friday.
It's going to be fun.